Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Dirk Webb from the St. Cloud Chamber of Commerce, welcoming you to the Toolkit for May 28th, 2025. Our guest today is Chamber Board Member Nathan Steiner from Anchor Online Website Design and 5 Things Your Website Needs. So for today, we'd also thank our sponsors, City of St. Cloud, Osceola County, OUC, the reliable one, the Osceola County Realtors, and Toho Water Authority. We'd like for you to make the toolkit part of your monthly business calendar. Not only do we have Nathan this month, but next month we'll have Mark Wells of MW Ideas to talk about AI and do some hands-on training. So we'll put out the information for you, and Mark will guide you through exercises to do on your own computer or your own phone that'll take advantage of AI. So today, though, we have one of our chamber board members and the president of the Osceola Business Partners, which is the only leads group the chamber has. And this is just going to be a beneficial session for you because Nathan is on top of this game. So without further ado, Nathan Steiner then.
Thank you very much, Dirk, and thank you to the Chamber for this opportunity and the platform to help small business owners. So today, the topic is 5 things your website should have. Subheading would be practical tips for your business website. So everything that we go over is going to be very practical. I hope you all have something to write with. If not, if you can find that, and I will make sure after the presentation, I get Dirk a PDF copy of it so that it can be sent out to you. But we all know that you learn better when you write things down. So grab a paper and pen to jot down some of these tips today. So first up, an introduction, a little bit about me. So I live in St. Cloud, and I opened my business, Anchor Online Web Design, just under 4 years ago. The whole purpose of me opening my business was to help local businesses get a very basic website up and running. I saw a huge need when I looked for local contractors specifically to do things to my house, like screening the back patio, put on some gutters and a fence. I did a quick Google search and found a lot of these local businesses lacking in their web presence. If not, they had nothing online. And so I saw a huge need there. I was able to connect with Dirk and the chamber and find these business owners who were looking for help with a website. And so from there, my business has done very well, and the chamber's been a huge blessing for me. As Dirk mentioned, I'm also the president of the Osceola Business Partners. We are what they call a leads group. We meet twice per month at the chamber, and the whole purpose of that is for local businesses to pass leads to other local businesses. So leveraging our huge networks to help each other grow. Okay. A little bit about what you'll hear today. As I mentioned, it's going to be I hope is very simple, practical tips. I did not want to complicate things. I know that you're all very busy with your businesses or trying to open up your own businesses, and you don't have hours and hours each day to spend designing a website, nor do you probably want to. So I'm guessing that some of you already have a website. Maybe you're just looking for some tips to help make it better, and others might be creating their own website. Some things that you won't hear today. I'm not going to go into a deep dive about things like SEO. SEO is search engine optimization, the process of optimizing your website so that you can appear in Google searches for certain keywords affiliated with your business. For example, if you're an electrician, then you might want to rank for a certain keyword like electrician in St. Cloud. That is a very complex process, and again, not something that's easy to implement by yourself. So I'm not going to talk about overly complex topics today. I am going to use some examples. I'm pulling from chamber members some of our own clients at Anchor Online and other real businesses. So, yeah. Next, you're going to see on each of the tips, there's a blue box at the bottom for taking action. Okay, this summarizes the tip for you, and I hope this is going to be your takeaway on how to implement each of the tips. And then at the very end, I will open it up to questions. All right. So first up, the first thing, and I think one of the most important things that you need on your website is a clear call to action. A call to action in the industry, we abbreviate this to a CTA. And a call to action is the action that you want a website visitor to take on your website. Okay, so that might be calling you, that might be filling out a form. It's a very practical, easy step or easy next step that you want them to take after learning about your business. All right. So why is this important? It's important because you want to guide them. You didn't put all this work into designing a website just to have someone come and learn about your business and then leave. All right. You really want to push them on your website. It's kind of like talking for those who have been in sales, and I'm sure we've all at one point tried to sell our own business. But if you're telling someone about maybe your services or benefits of the product or service you offer, and you never actually ask for the sale or ask for next steps, are you interested in learning more? Do you want a free consultation? Can I get you a free quote? That call to action on your website is that question for the next step. All right, so let's take a look at two different websites. First, let me pull up LBV Painting. And Dirk, can you give me a head nod? Can you see this screen? All right, I think you guys can see this screen. I'm going to trust that you can. And so this is LBV Painting's website. Dirk, can you hear me? All right, I got a thumbs up from Wanda. Thank you, Wanda. So this is LBV Painting's website. This is one of our clients. And as soon as you land on the website, you can probably guess what their call to action is. If you look around real quick, it's get a quote. All right. So your call to action is typically represented or best represented as a button, usually a bright color. You want that to jump off the page in contrast with everything else on the website. So as you immediately look on the website, you see this bright blue button here. You can see another button in the top and then on the bottom left there. And then as you scroll throughout their website, you can see under services, get a quote, about us, get a quote. Down here, FAQs. So you can see that it's really plastered all over the website. And that makes it really easy for you if you were looking for, an interior, exterior painter for your house. It makes it very easy to take the next step is maybe you're looking at some of the pictures and you know what, these pictures are nice. And you might make a unconscious decision. I think I will move forward and get a quote from these guys. And right below that picture section of pictures, you see get a quote. Okay. So this is just one example. And then if we click here, we can go over, it looks like we have this link to their contact page. So we have a free quote request, and then you can create a form on your website. It doesn't have to be really fancy. You can just put name, phone, email, and then this allows you to follow up with that potential client. All right, the next website I want to take a look at is Ducks Duck Cleaning. So if we see on this website, at the very top, we have get a quote as well. Pretty popular for a service-based business. And if we scroll down here, get a quote, we have this bright yellow form here. Again, jumps off the page. And we actually have this on their website throughout it. I think it's on every page of their website. So again, something bright that jumps off the page. This is the call to action. This is the step that you want your website visitors to take. And let me transition back over. All right, so for the taking action section, add call to action buttons throughout your website that link to a page on your website where visitors can take action. So that might be a contact page. Um, for this one, again, you don't have to, I don't want to overcomplicate it. Don't feel like you have to redesign the whole website. Hopefully you have maybe just a form on your website already, and you can just, depending on your website builder, copy and paste a button all throughout your website that has that call to action. So that might be free consultation. That might be get estimate, get a quote, learn more, call us. So all of those would be great call to actions. All right, the next thing your website should have is basic business information. So that's going to be the services that you offer, about you or about the business, your contact information, and frequently asked questions. And what I would highly recommend, if you're anything like me, you probably don't enjoy writing. I know Dirk does, so he's one of the few among us where he enjoys writing. But I do not. And so a great resource that we now have is ChatGPT. I won't steal Mark's thunder on the next monthly presentation, but I wanted to hop in here just to show you how easy it is and how to apply that to your business. All right, let's go over here. All right. And hopefully you all can see this Chat GPT prompt here. So if you've never been here or used this before, this is an AI tool called Chat GPT. And you can see on the top left, the URL is just chatgpt.com. So you can go on here and you just tell it what you need help with. Okay. And so in a moment, I'm going to pull up one of our chamber members, Samantha, with her website with All Accounting Services. But let's say that you have an accounting business and you need help writing some of the words for your website. We call this copy. Okay. So you can simply go in here and say, I have an accounting business in St. Cloud, Florida. What need help writing? You can say copy or wording for my website. What are 10 FAQs for my website? Okay. And then they'll create it for you. All right. So I think it's still going. We have 8. All right, so it looks like we have 10 FAQs. So now you can simply just copy and paste these over to your website. You will want to make sure that you proofread everything to make sure it's applicable. For example, the first is services. If you don't offer payroll services and you're an accounting business, then you're not going to want to add that. But you can see just how easy that was. It took me a minute, if that, and we've created the FAQs. So if we just keep going, what about information for the services page? And then they can write information for all the services. You can ask it, tax preparation. It looks like this is only one sentence. You can say, expand on tax preparation. I need 1,000 words, or, I need 2 paragraphs. So you can be specific in what you ask. It will also search the existing internet for information about your business. So you could ask it, give me an about us paragraph or information for the about us page. It might even pull your contact information for that. So this is a very easy, practical tool to use. I know when I first started designing websites, writing copy was one of the biggest blocks that I had. You can even ask ChatGPT to help out with a heading. I need a heading for this page on my accounting website. All right, so very practical tips here. Next, I want to transition over and show you again. This is Samantha. She is a member of the St. Cloud Chamber. She's with All Accounting Services and Taxes. Her website does really well in explaining the About Us, the services. So if we take a look, we have some core values. They have each of their team members on here with a pop-up which is more information about that team member. We can go over to their services. So we have business taxes. So a lot of information on the website. And another one I want to show you is Bridget Jones. She's with Key Life Fitness. She has a great website, and I think she does really well on her About page of highlighting not only the real pictures from her business, but about her passion and what she enjoys about it. So she has bios for each of her staff. You can view their schedule on here. And then lastly, a little bit more about Bridget. You can see that she has her credentials on here. So a lot of information about the website. And that's really going to be key. At the end of the day, your website is really to help build trust, to prove that you are the expert and that you're the professional and that you can deliver what you're saying. And so this basic business information is very important with that. All right, so taking action, add any missing information to your website, such as what we talked about here, services about contact, FAQs, use ChatGPT if you need to. And if this is overwhelming for you here, don't feel like you need to create new pages on your website for all your services for the About page. That can be pretty daunting. You can simply add all this information on your homepage. I'm guessing for those who have a website, you at least have a single page on your website, so you could add that there. The next is very important thing that you need on your website, and that is real pictures. All right, I think we've all been to a website before, and you're wondering where did they get this picture? It might be a picture with snow, and we live here in Florida. You know, like it just doesn't make sense, and it really breaks that trust that we are trying to build with a website. So, a question for you, which picture is better for an AC company? All right, we have a picture on the left, picture on the right. If you want to take a moment and think about it. All right, most of you are probably saying the picture on the right. All right, and it's because it's a real picture of someone actually doing AC work. All right, we can see that the gentleman is wearing a branded t-shirt with the company logo on there. We can see his outfit's a little bit dirty, and yes, that's expected, you know, for someone doing AC repair. We can see he's actually using tools there to do a repair. He's got the unit opened up. And if we look on the picture on the left-hand side, if you're anything like me, your first thought is who in Florida is doing AC repair wearing a flannel? And why does he look so clean? All right. So you might laugh, but when you use what we call stock images or generic images for your website, these are conversations that your website visitors are having in their mind, and they might not think about it aloud. And so when they question what this picture is doing there, they're questioning your website, and therefore they might be questioning your brand or the fact that you might be the professional. Okay. And then secondly, what is this type of unit he's working on? Do we even have these in Florida? You know, maybe this is or in the US, maybe this is a picture of another country like, you know, UK or something where we don't have this type of unit. All right. So you definitely want to use real pictures. And I'm going to pull up. I'm getting a little click happy down here. All right. Let me pull up Tuck Frez. And so this is the picture that was on the right-hand side of that example. We can see in the background here, we have pictures of their trucks, a gentleman working on an outdoor unit, another one here. pictures of the team. So there's a lot of real pictures on this website, and that helps to build that trust. So you can tell from here that these are actually the real people working at the business. So if I call them for AC repair, one of these guys are going to come out. And it's not going to be someone who is not pictured anywhere on the website, where you call them and you're not really sure who's going to show up. All right, so taking action, I put on here, find a young person. If you don't like taking pictures, then find someone who's under the age of, I don't know, 20 or 30. They could probably take some great pictures just on their, iPhone for you. Get a headshot, do some action shots. Even if you are someone who works in an office, maybe you sit down with a client, maybe you're just on your computer, but any type of action shots would work there, and then add those throughout your website. All right, tip number 4, or the fourth thing that your website should have, is reviews. The best place to collect reviews for your business is on something called a Google Business Profile. And I'll talk about how that relates to your website in a moment. For those who are not familiar, your Google Business Profile is a free profile that you can create on Google. Um, and it is a great place to collect reviews because the more reviews that you have on Google, the higher integrity that Google places on your business, and therefore the better it does in the rankings. I talked about in the very beginning something called SEO. Again, I'm not going to dive too deep into that today, but when you have a lot of Google reviews, that does help those rankings when someone is searching on Google. All right, so let's take a look at a Google Business Profile here. If you're wondering if you even have a Google Business Profile, what you can do is you can see in the top left, I've done a Google search. Just search for your business name and then city and state. And so right now I'm going to use the example of Ford Insurance, another chamber member, St. Cloud, Florida. And then on the right-hand side, this is all information from their Google Business Profile. All right, you can see pictures, a link to call them, link to their website, and then reviews on here. We see that they have 139 reviews, average 4.9, great rating. And so this is their Google Business Profile. And what you can do, how this relates to the website is you can either take these reviews. For example, we have this review here. You can just copy it and then add it to your website. Depending on the website builder, they might have a review section where you can just simply swap out the content on there, like the name and the actual review. So you can copy and paste that, or you can use something called an integration. And I want to show you an integration that we put on all of our client websites, and you can actually use the same one. It's a free integration. You don't have to know anything about coding. It's very easy to use and implement on your website. So let's hop over to Ford Insurance, and this is right on their homepage. And this is the integration I'm talking about. So the name of the company that provides this software is called ElfSite. And if you just do a Google search for ElfSite, Google reviews, you can find that. As I mentioned, they do have a free account, and I believe it may be limited to the number of visitors you have. I'm not sure, but they'll have that info on their website. What this does is it will add the Google reviews to your website, and it will keep them updated. So if someone leaves a Google review, it will automatically add it to their website. Okay, and then you can also have a button here where you can leave a review, which is very helpful. There's a summary. So as I mentioned in the beginning, remember your website is all about building trust. And when we see that other people are using a business and they have legitimate reviews, then that helps to build that trust and is therefore convincing for us to also use the business. Something that's also really neat about here is you can add different filters. And so one of those filters is it will only pull 5-star reviews from your Google profile over to the website. So let's say, for some reason I don't anticipate this for Ford Insurance, but let's say they get a 3 or a 4-star review. That review would stay on their Google Business profile, but it will not get pulled over to their website to display. All right, so we can actually filter it, or you can do that when you create it. You can filter it for only 5-star reviews. All right, so taking action. If you haven't already, create a Google Business profile and collect reviews to add to your website. The Google Business profile, again, I don't have time to get into all of that today, but there's a ton of help and support articles online. If you just Google that, Google Business profile, you can find that. You might need to verify it once you get it up and running. And then if you want to check out that Google or that review integration, again, Elf site Google Reviews is that free integration that you can add to your website. It doesn't matter what website builder you're using, whether you're on, Wix or Squarespace or WordPress. Virtually, you can add it to any website builder. All right, and the fifth and final thing that you should have on your website is a mobile-friendly design. So I just did a quick search in preparing for today, and right now, 63% of Google searches are on a mobile device. All right. And what this takes me back to, if anyone on the call or watching this later has designed their own website, I remember when I was first designing, you usually spend, and Dirk I think could relate to this as well. You usually spend hours and hours and hours trying to make this beautiful website, and you're really designing most of the time for a desktop computer. So that's this full width. You're trying to find the most beautiful pictures. And then come to find out, probably more than half of people visiting your website won't even see that. So I hope that takes a little bit of pressure off you. Don't feel like you need the most perfect pictures, because at the end of the day, most people are probably going to be looking at a very shrink down version of your website. Now, most website builders, and when I say website builder, again, I'm referring to a Wix, a Squarespace, a WordPress, will usually have their own mobile editor. And so it's usually some type of button within the back end where you press it and it will shrink your website down to a very short width, like a phone width. And then you can edit your website accordingly, and all of those changes will only get made on the mobile version of your website. So a tip for you there, again, usually you put all this time into designing your website and you go to edit the mobile version and you're already tired at that point. You're like, let's just be done with it. And so you might do just a quick review of it. I highly recommend to test it on your phone, and take your time to test that mobile version. Again, more than likely, there's going to be 63%, if not more, people looking at your website on their phone. So it's very important that you have that mobile version looking good. All right, so let's take a look at another chamber member, Dawn Grigsby's website. And all right, so here I have this already shrunk down. So you can see, let me move the zoom window here a moment. So first, let's look at the full width version. We can see there's, this nice picture of a house here. We have some buttons on there, a picture of Dawn. And when we go to shrink that down, we can see that the picture is, very shrunk in the background. There's a picture of a pool. And then we can scroll down and see the rest of the website. So some quick tips on editing the mobile version. Again, usually at this point you're pretty tired and you're done with designing your website. The most important tips are that your font is legible. There's not pictures going off the screen. And if you really have some time, to take a look at the spacing, in between. So you want to make sure that everything is legible. everything looks good on there. All right, so taking action. As I mentioned, don't rush making changes to the mobile version of your website. Take your time, always test on your phone. And so what that means is you typically edit the website on, for example, a desktop computer or a laptop. You click save or publish or wherever's on that editor. What I recommend and what we do anytime we're making changes on the mobile is then you pull up the website on your mobile phone. Sometimes it might look a little bit off. And so that's what you're checking for is you want to make sure that the changes that you've made are actually reflecting on a real version on your phone. All right, so that's all I have for you guys today. A quick overview. Each tip that we went over, I think, is very valuable in and of itself. So if you're overwhelmed right now, then that's okay. That just means that you're not a, full-time professional web designer and that you enjoy, doing other things. So what I recommend is taking maybe one of the easiest tips that you learned today, apply that change, and then maybe you carve some time out, once a week or once a month in the future to work on those other tips. So make changes slowly as you have time. And then something that's important is to update your website as your business changes. Not just basic information like if your phone number, email changes. For example, maybe you added another team member and you want to get their headshot on your website, or you added a new service and you want to get that added. So with that being said, again, that's all I have for you today. I hope that was informational. I do want to open it up, Dirk, if we have time, to see if there are any questions that I can answer. And if you have a question, you're welcome just to unmute yourself.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Ian.
On the mobile website, I just went in there and I took a look at mine and it's different than what's on the updated website that I've been working on. So how do I get that changed? Or how do I get that updated as well?
Yeah, so that would depend on whatever website editor or website builder you're using. Typically, you would have to log into the back end there and then go to your website editing, some type of interface or dashboard, and then look for that. It's usually like a mobile icon or a button. And you'll be able to tell when you're editing the mobile version because even if you're on a desktop, you'll see the editor on the screen will shrink down
Oh,
to
okay,
a
great.
much smaller width.
All right.
Yep.
I
Yep, good
appreciate that.
question.
And good presentation. Thanks, Nathan.
Thank you. Dirk, we can't hear you. We still can't hear you, Dirk. Dirk's been having some microphone issues, so I don't know if you want to try on the other computer. If not, I can wrap it up. Any other questions before we conclude? Okay, fantastic. So as I mentioned, I will go ahead and send a PDF of each of these slides so you can take these tips, hopefully revisit it, later this month or over these next few months to apply these changes. And I will also have Dirk send out my contact information. If you do want to run any ideas by me, we're happy to do that. Or if you are, as I mentioned, completely overwhelmed and hated everything that I said today, then that might mean you need a professional web designer like myself to handle everything for you. So, yeah. Again, we appreciate the chamber for coordinating today. And thank you everyone for attending. Enjoy your day.